All right, the Sort of Sports Podcast presents The Big Salad.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have the big salad!
Hosted by the one and only Quinn Maseko.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Ryan. And we're back after 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was. We didn't realize it would be a 2-week hiatus, and then it ended up becoming.
Yes, Ryan went to the great state of South Dakota.
Yes, I mean, technically I stopped in Minneapolis. I was in the state of Minnesota for about a half hour at one point.
For your layover.
For flights, a layover,
yes, were you in Minneapolis, I assume?
Yeah,
St. Paul, the Twin Cities.
They have a really nice airport. Probably one of the nicest I've ever been in. It's a really nice airport. I really liked it.
So, I've only drove up to Rochester when we drove our way up to South Dakota.
Gotcha.
Which is
I drove before. When I was younger, we drove over. And flying was a lot better of an experience. Except, yeah, I don't mind flying.
I've only flown twice in my life, though, but it's still good.
I used to not really, only twice. I've flown probably like 12 times. One of those is all in one trip,
when do I have time to fly?
I guess that's true.
On vacation
well, yeah, you go to Pittsburgh all the time, so it's like, that's a drive.
Yeah, I mean, but I haven't gone on vacation in 4 years.
When I went down, really? Well, aren't you going? You're going on vacation next year, right? You're tossing it around. That's what I thought.
It's already booked.
It's already booked. Tickets for two?
No.
You don't have a date yet.
No, it's not just me.
Oh.
It's with friends.
Okay.
So, and it's in the summer.
Oh, I thought you were tossing around maybe doing like
I am.
Yeah.
That's still maybe on the radar, so.
Gotcha. No, well, the one thing is, one time I flew to Houston. It was supposed to be like we fly out from Columbus, land in Chicago.
Where did you go to Houston? Is that for?
It was like
for a youth group.
Yeah, it was like a youth group thing, and I was younger. Yeah.
Yes.
And
well, that's why you had those bonus exposures that you've had. You know?
Yeah.
I've never done that. I would have never done that. So
it was pretty cool, but the thing was, our flights got rescheduled. So like we were supposed to go to Columbus, then Houston. Then Columbus, Chicago, Houston. We ended up getting like messed around. So it's like we flew to Orlando, then out to St. Louis, then to Houston. Then on the way back, it was like St. Louis, Chicago, Columbus. Like it was wild.
Right, different connectors.
It was a bunch of weird systems. So I didn't used to like flying, and then because I flew around that much that time, I was like, okay, well, now I've pretty much been scared into this. I'm like, I had to do it so much then, I'm just like, I'm numb to it at this point.
It's great.
I finished, I think I watched 4 episodes of Breaking Bad from the way back from South Dakota. So I finished season 3 of South Dakota. I finished season 3 of South Dakota. I finished season 3 of Breaking Bad now.
Yes.
So I'm on to the 4th season, which many consider to be the best season. So it's pretty exciting stuff.
Dr. Tim Watley there is the star.
Yes.
Cranston. Yes, I mean, the only time I've flown is when I flew over to Europe, so I flew from... Actually, the worst part of the flight was going from Columbus to New York because the plane was so awful.
Yeah, I bet.
And then when you're going
international flights,
because you're having 3 rows of 4. If you know what I mean by that, 4 seats in each row, 3 columns of it, and they're just so huge and you just feels
a lot
you're
better.
floating on air. So
Which you quite literally are.
You are, because and we went Columbus, New York to London, Gatwick, which is out in the countryside outside of London. Heathrow's downtown, and then flew to Copenhagen. And just flew straight back, Copenhagen to New York City, and then back to Columbus. So,
I also got touched up on my my list of 2022 films I've watched for the end of the year at the Sort of Sporties Awards was already good. But then I ended up deciding that I was going to give out a TV show of the year. So the way I'll do it is the 2022 TV shows. That means if you released a season of your show this year. So like legal. Stranger Things is legal.
Yes.
The Boys would be legal.
Yes.
The season 3 of The Boys. So then there's just my show of the year. Sorry about that. I just hit you with my chair. My show of the year.
Anyway.
I take out his knees. It's fine. Then there's my show of the year, which is out of everything I watched for the first time this year. So I will have Breaking Bad finished by the end of the year. So if Breaking Bad only gets one shot at being the show of the year because they're not going to make more. So this is its one and only chance of winning the awards. And then I think what I'll do is I'll break it up by seasons just to make it a little better. So, for example, the only Stranger Things I watched the first time this year was season 4, whereas Breaking Bad will have all 5 seasons for me to pick from. So if I say the best show of the year was season 4 of Stranger Things or season 3 of Breaking Bad, that's the way it'll work.
No.
That's what I'm going at the moment. So.
No. Yeah. And yes, speaking of Pittsburgh, going to Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Yes.
It was supposed to be originally this game, and obviously we'll be picking it later. Steelers-Bengals.
It was supposed to be a Sunday night game.
It was supposed to be Sunday night, and then the Steelers are so bad they flexed it to 4:25. So
that's a little better for you, though, right?
No. Well, we're saying overnight already.
Oh, you're already
booked,
okay.
so
Never mind. I feel bad for you now. Yeah.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, you're actually gonna get more than nightlife now that you're going to have a 4:25.
You can go out after. You can have yourself a big old
go out
evening.
after anyway.
Well, this will be even more fun.
So,
because then you can watch Sunday Night Football while you're out.
Yes,
it's not a bad set.
We have five. Yeah, there's 5 of us going, so should be a good time. I'm pretty sure unless it's changed.
Are you bringing somebody with you?
No, I'm the solo.
Oh, you're solo.
I'm the solo. I'm the fifth wheel.
Somebody.
No, it's not my family.
Oh, it's not your family.
No, friends.
Again, oh man,
Friends
Quinn with
again.
the friends.
Quinn
They're
with
out
the
on the
friends.
town.
Yes. So Sunday, it's going to be 28 degrees, but mostly sunny. All right.
It's a nice sunny 28 degrees.
What's crazy is that last year, when this game was actually a week later.
Yeah.
It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and it was in Cincinnati.
Well, it'll be 2 weeks later. Right?
No.
Yeah, because Thanksgiving isn't this week; it's next.
That's what I'm saying. So this upcoming
Oh,
Sunday,
you're right.
it's
Sorry,
a
I
week
was
from
thinking
that
about
one.
it like it came. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, anyway, when we went last year down to Cincinnati, it was low 50s and sunny, light breeze along the Ohio River, and it was nice. I mean, it was just a perfect late November day. But this year, it's not.
Not as
it's
much.
It's going to feel
Not
like
as much.
January. So, hopefully things
It'll be
go
that good
well.
old terrible towel, cold Pittsburgh
It
weather.
will be, and I'm hopeful going back in mid-December as well for another game, and then I'll be in New York. I'm going to New York City in January MLK weekend. So those are my little mini vacations going on. So
I will
taking
say,
the train to New York, taking the train.
Trains are the best.
The trains
I love
are the best.
traveling by train.
I'm a train
I
guy.
love traveling by train.
Big train.
The U.S. messed up. We should have been built off trains and flights are linked to the
They
car.
had that at one point, and then Eisenhower put the highway system in basically as a Cold War tactic, and that's how it went from there. Because if you didn't know this, little history lesson for you kids, that US 23 out here used to be light speed rail back in the day, pre-1960. So
Big train guy.
Imagine that. I mean,
Ike was not a train guy.
he was a military guy.
Yeah,
so
well, he was a war hero.
I'm not saying that the interstate system isn't bad. It's fine, but it's very, let's just say, individualized. So, everybody's in their own individual world. I think we could be a more together United States if we were in a
that's your inner politician coming out.
Transit.
We can be together in a community.
We can be together.
Yeah, see,
I was just saying. I mean,
it's not a bad.
Your mom loves the trains too, so she.
It's not a bad take. I like trains too. I just think the part of the community thing is so like.
Well, it doesn't have to be a community.
Future governor of Ohio of you.
I mean, it's not just the community. I mean, it's not just because you're being a together community. It just seems like
I'm just messing with you.
Our world's more interconnected.
No, I agree. And as a guy who rode on trains, you're right. It's a lot more social.
Yes.
Than being in your car.
So, okay. So, we got a little new format today since we're catching up on 2 weeks of news, basically. What we're going to do is we're going to run...
Through the major.
We got 12 headlines to talk about today.
Yep.
Okay? And we're going to cap those at in between 4 and 5 minutes discussing each point. Try and get through everything. And then, obviously, we have the usual Ryan special section, Quinn's questions. And then roll in the happy time, and we'll still be probably out of here around our normal time, I think.
Yeah, I think if we keep it on a good clip. Quick thing I want to throw in, just because you're a Steelers guy. Najee Harris, not impressive this year.
Actually, he had a very good defense game on Sunday.
Oh, he did. I didn't pay attention.
20 carries for 99.
That's good, but he has not been looking good this year.
No.
And I think I don't know if it's his fault.
Well,
I don't like the Matt Canada offense.
He was injured. Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible. And everybody
Is this his first year there?
No, second. He was there with Ben last year. Just Ben covered it up. So,
he's not good. I don't like him.
No, he's not. And
now, what happened to the old guy?
The old guy? Randy Fichtner?
Huh?
Ben didn't want him anymore, so he got rid of him. That was his next to last.
Where did you guys get Canada from?
I don't know where he was at his... I know he was at, I believe, LSU for a season. He was at Pitt for 3... let me look it up real quick.
I do not like the way he's got the offense. I think
It's
Tomlin
terrible.
needs to kick him
there
out.
Are no audibles. There are no audibles. He was at LSU for a year.
I don't understand it.
So here we go. He was before here, he was at Maryland, and he was off a season. He was at Maryland as offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach for a season, LSU for a season, Pittsburgh for a season, 3 years at NC State, and a year at Wisconsin.
Was he ever a head coach?
Nope.
Oh, he was an interim head coach at Maryland.
Yes, because that's when DJ Durkin. Remember
Oh,
DJ
yeah,
Durkin,
yeah.
He got fired. Yeah. Because remember it was the death of that lineman out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Jordan
did I
Kamara.
give my take before we... I don't know if I said this before we left. I need to give my Panthers take real quick. I think I'm fine with winning every... I would like to win, try to do our best to win every game.
My question is, what was Baker Mayfield headbutting everybody for?
I don't know. He gets excited. I
I
saw it. Oh, no, I saw it.
Why would you want to worsen your...
I don't know.
Whatever.
Regardless, I liked P.J. Walker. I'm sad that he's going to be out. So, XFL MVP. He's fun to watch. But here's my thing with the Panthers. I would like to try to win games because I genuinely do think we have very good defense. Brian Burns especially. Big stud. J.C. Horn off the PFF grades, which I'm not a huge PFF guy, but, he does have a high rating. And, Sauce Gardner is obviously the crown jewel of young corners right now, but
yes.
J.C. Horn is having a really good year too. The thing is with the Panthers is we could have the 12th pick and I'm fine with it because even if we have like the 16th pick, I'm fine because the quarterback, I don't want Stroud.
What do you want?
The only
Which one do you want?
Well, let me explain. The only team I don't think Stroud's going to be very good in the NFL unless he is a member of the Detroit Lions. I think on the Lions he fits in the offense perfectly. He's got a good O-line. He's got a really good running back backing him up in DeAndre Swift. It's a lot like what he has at Ohio State, which is a lot of weapons, a good O-line, a very good team around him.
I will say that I think Dan Campbell will not be getting fired, even though the Lions have been underwhelming this year. But it seems like that team really responds to him, and they actually maybe they'll give it a little time.
They're very scrappy.
Well, I think Detroit needs given time. Remember, they fired Jim Caldwell, and he had best seasons in years.
I think they're going to keep him just because the guys in the locker room like him. He's still big with the media, even though they've been disappointing. Like, no one really talks about, man. Like, everybody's just like, oh, okay, well.
That's agreed.
And I think everybody likes Dan.
Yes.
And I think everybody thinks he's doing a good job. And
Campbell's
plus, alma mater. I mean, that's where he played.
Right, exactly.
Which is a little different. Alma mater is usually high school. But I'm saying, for the NFL, when you were, it'd be like if Pat Fryermuth wanted to coach in a couple of years. The Steelers probably have a lesser chance of firing
Well, if he went back to Penn State, yeah.
I'm saying Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Like
but
the
I don't know
Steelers.
if he'd be coaching immediately.
No, but I'm saying Dan Campbell played for the Lions.
Yeah, but I know, but they let Hines Ward go. They didn't release him from coaching.
True.
But they let him move on to wherever he wanted to go.
I just think Stroud fits with the Lions perfectly, and I don't think he'll do that well with the Panthers. The guy I want, this is the Ryan Klinger stamp of approval, I think he would be the best fit for the Panthers. It's not Bryce Young. He's the next Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray's good, but he's not amazing. And I have a lot of problems with Kyler. And it's not just his height. There's other issues. His reads, the offense. I just don't like the way the Cardinals run things.
I think it's Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge Kyler guy in general, and I think Bryce Young is just the next Kyler Murray. He'll go to the Texans, and he'll be pretty good. Nothing insane. I want Hendon Hooker. That's who I want.
I know you do.
I love him. Tennessee has become my team this year. They're the boys I really back. I really want them to get in the playoff. Every year I pick a team, and they're the team I picked this year. I've decided it was Tennessee, even though they lost the big game. I don't care. The Bama game. I mean, it doesn't matter. Not the Bama game. Sorry, the Georgia game.
The Georgia game.
Sorry, the Georgia game. Even though they lost the Georgia game, Bama was the big game they won. Even though they lost the Georgia game, I don't care.
They destroyed LSU.
I love Hendon Hooker, even though the real star of the team's probably the running back. But still, Hendon Hooker I love, and I want him on the Panthers.
Yep.
I think he's really good, and I think he would fit the team well. I mean, our last quarterback was a big boy that could move, and that was Cam Newton. That was our last great quarterback. And I'm saying he's not the next Cam Newton. He's different. But he is. He's big, and he's broad, and he can move, and he's tall. That's very different than the way Stroud's tall, but he's not broad and big.
No, he's not.
And
no, he's not.
Hooker's big, but he's light on his feet, kind of like a Josh Allen, which is what I would like to have.
Right.
So I like Hooker a lot. So and also, you know how happy I am the fact that the Bills lost 3 games. I'm so excited by that.
Well, before we even get to NFL, we're going to start with our first subject here. We're going to talk about the MLB since the World Series
Also, it's funny buying a jersey that says Hooker.
Is your number going to be 69, though?
No, no, I think he wears 7, right?
No, he wears 5, I think. I believe he wears 5.
I'll look it up.
And
it would have been really funny if he wore 69 and it was Hooker.
Well, we can't. It's the illegal number for a quarterback.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. We can't.
Even though the NFL got rid of it.
He is 5.
See,
you're completely right. I'd wear a 5. I like 5. 5's fine. 5 was my third favorite number when I was younger.
Third favorite number.
Wait,
when he was younger.
No, wait. It was second. It was second favorite.
You hear that?
It was always 7. It was always 7 and 5, and then sometimes 12. And now it's just my favorite number is 12.
Weird. Wild.
Well, my favorite number is
Johnny
12 now, but when
Carson.
I was younger, it was 7 was my favorite and 5 was my second
Okay,
favorite.
7.
Yeah.
George Costanza.
Yep, George. No, and then I think, I don't know. All my jerseys now I wear 34, but that's just because it's Giannis.
7. I know why you were 7 anyway.
What?
Because Elway then Roethlisberger. Duh.
Yeah, those are not my two guys.
Oh yeah, well they are now because you like number 7.
Yeah, see, now my favorite number I think of 12, and then I think of 34, but the 34 is
good. Terry
34
Bradshaw.
is heavily influenced. Definitely Brady.
Definitely.
I'm not even a big Brady or Bradshaw guy.
The original TV 12.
True.
Terry Bradshaw.
I mean, I think they're both really good, but I'm not a huge fan either. 34 is really the real reason 34 is probably one of my favorite numbers is because Giannis. So
Yeah.
that's my guy.
He is.
Sadiq Bey. I don't think 41 is in my mind.
No,
yet.
and it's a prime number.
It's kind of cool though. I like primes.
Yeah. But not for that.
I don't know if 10 Herbert's cool. Like 10's fine, but 10's not like your favorite number. It's just it just kind of exists.
Herbert.
Love Herbert.
Well, anyway, we're gonna start the show after the ramblings. Going on MLB, the World Series reaction. Houston. My pick.
You picked in 6, right?
Winning, I believe I did because I said the Phillies have to win in 5. Houston did win in 6, and Dusty Baker won his first World Series as an MLB manager. So, Ryan, reaction to that real quick.
It was monumentally disappointing. I was in South Dakota, and after that I had to go get in the hotel hot tub. I was very upset. I ended up talking to a guy who was really nice. He was a fireman. Not a fireman, sorry. He was a
EMT?
the leaf people. Forester. He was a forester.
A forest fire? Oh, forester.
That basically goes around. It's like he's like a fireman for forest fires, essentially.
Yeah.
And they were having troubles with that, and he was like, he works around that, and he's based in Wyoming, and he's gone out to Colorado, he's gone to California, he's gone to South Dakota, and he takes care of forest fires. So that was pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
So it was more interesting than watching the Phillies lose, which is really upsetting for me.
Yeah.
I was really excited for the Phillies team. I was like, this is a fun team to like. Even though my Padres got eliminated, it's fine. This is a fun team. And then, no! Doomsday scenario. If it's Dodgers, Yankees, or Astros winning the World Series, it's a lost season for me. It doesn't matter what happened in the playoffs. It just ruins everything. We had a great year of baseball. We had the whole Judge thing and all that. Nope. Ruined. All ruined because the Astros won. It's so disappointing. It's really a shame.
I don't know if it's ruined because it's Dusty Baker's first World Series
Is he
win.
retiring now?
I believe he was offered a 1-year deal to come back.
Wow.
And I do not know if he did sign that or not.
My biggest concern now with the MLB is where's Correa signing? Because he didn't re-up with the Twins. Now, granted, he could go back, but I'm saying.
He could go back because he was on a 1-year deal, correct?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was his choice, but I'm just saying, I'm a big Correa guy, so I want to see where Correa goes.
Yes.
Maybe he'll go to my Marlins, team up with my guy Jazz Chisholm.
Yes, Sandy Alcantara won.
I love Sandy.
Just won Cy Young today. But anyway, I think the Astros, the pitching, I mean, the first game, it was a disaster for the Astros. Did not play well, loss.
I know, I thought that was going to be how the whole series went.
Yeah, it did not look good. It was going to be a knock them out, slug them out, drag them out kind of fight. And then it ended up being that they turned it around. The bats finally came alive. Altuve actually played better. And
he did.
They were able to string together hits. I mean, the Phillies put up fights some games where they were hitting homers and just blew the leads. So, and Wheeler did not play well in the second game.
No, and Wheeler's the big ace.
He is the big ace.
You cannot lose when they lost the Wheeler game. I was like, oh.
Right, and what's crazy is they lost the first game with him too.
Yeah, I did not expect them to lose
they
the
lost
Wheeler
both games. So.
You needed to win the Wheeler games. He's your big ace.
Yes.
So yeah.
And that's what you have.
Nothing against Nola, just Wheeler is the dog. He's the guy.
No. I mean, that's the way
I do think it hurts
he wins on.
because Bryce Harper was about to be like the face of baseball. Especially, it would have been cemented if he won this. Like, because he's already one of the best players, and it's like Trout doesn't have a ton of personality. Betts has never really went and got the brass ring for it. It was kind of Tatis, but because the PEDs are kicking him out of the, you know what I mean? They're not really doing as much with him.
Right.
And Shohei would be the face, but he's never in the playoffs. So it's like,
No, but he didn't make himself $31 million
yeah.
for next year.
Do you think he's leaving?
I don't know.
The Angels got to get together. I love Shohei.
I think, and Dusty is coming back next year, but their GM did not take the 1-year deal, so we'll see how that goes. But there was some between ownership and there was some tension between Jason Click and ownership as well. Yes.
Quick question for you: who has a better chance of being back there next year, Phillies or Astros? There is a right answer.
Oh, there is a right answer? I bet the
Yes.
right answer is supposed to be the Phillies.
It's the Stros.
Well, you're always in for the Phillies. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
why
I'm
I
not going to
figured
lie to myself.
that,
That was a streaky team.
Well, I mean,
You hit the bell. Do I have to move on now?
we're moving on. But
You honestly believe Phillies? You just saying that to me.
I thought you would say the Phillies.
No,
That's
no,
why
it's the
I was
Astros.
that's why I
They're
was
built
guessing
so
like
well
that.
every year. They
The
always have
Astros
some
have
rookie
made it
who
to the
steps
last-
up.
The Astros made it to the last 6 World Series.
Yeah, I'm saying they always have some rookie that steps up. Like this
They
year,
do. Pena's
yeah,
great.
Pena was
Pena's
insane.
great. They better sign him to a long-term deal.
They probably will, and it's
So-
like they always have somebody. They're just so well run.
Right, and we'll talk about
And
somebody that might be a missing piece in that later. To talk about, we're going to give us a 5-minute one here. Talk about the big game from this past weekend, which on Sunday, and somehow this was in the 1 o'clock. Actually, they knew why. They couldn't have Kirk Cousins lose in prime time.
There it is.
All right. In the 1 o'clock window, the best game, and of course it was on Fox as well, which was not good. We really wanted Jim and Tony there.
Tony's
was
Love Tony.
Minnesota Vikings beating the Bills at Buffalo. And
Two
it
winter
was a
teams.
Crazy
Two
game.
teams used to playing in the cold.
Yes. Well, no, because Minnesota's inside, so it won't matter.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. Didn't even think about that.
yeah.
Practice facility, maybe.
So what's
It's probably indoors
practice
too.
facility?
You know they have the practice fields
I
like an
know,
hour
whether
away.
it's inside.
Like the Browns one's in Berea.
Yes. So, it was just a crazy game. Josh Allen had 3 turnovers on the day.
Yeah.
The Bills had 4 of them.
Yep.
I mean, in the start off, it did not look pretty for the Vikings at all. I mean, I started watching this game. I'm indifferent about it because I'm actually rooting for Kirk big time.
I know you're a big
And
Kirky guy.
I'm hoping that they win. And then Bills are my Super Bowl pick. So I was kind of torn, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with, even though I love the Bills, I think the Bills are still going to have a better path and be able to make it farther than the Vikings. So I'm taking the Vikings.
You know me. I was so happy
I
to see
was
the Bills
going for
lose.
I know you were.
I don't know. Should we just declare that I'm a Bills hater at this point?
You are a Bills hater.
I am.
So-
I was so glad they lost.
I mean, well, I will say.
Also, the thumbnail for this episode is going to be the Justin Jefferson catch because
Okay,
that was
that is
incredible. Does that top the OBJ catch? I think here's what I'm gonna say. The OBJ catch will probably always be more iconic because it's like it was such a big media thing, and he was the cover of Madden,
and that wasn't.
and it was all over.
Wasn't that a Sunday night game too?
Yeah, and it was
That's
like,
the thing.
and it was
It was
referenced, and it was against the Cowboys, so it was like a big game,
Yes.
and and so like that catch will be more iconic, but the Jefferson catch I think is more impressive.
Right.
I don't know how he caught it. Like OBJ, it's like you were so supremely athletic, you caught that while you got the pass interference. The Jefferson thing, I don't understand how physically you can bring that ball down with one hand and not drop it.
Right.
Now, granted, they have those sticky gloves, and I get that. Even then, I don't understand how he's strong enough to get out of the guy's arms.
I mean, but that's the thing. Because the cornerback was trying to intercept it, he actually helped him out because he kept holding on to the ball, so he just ripped it away from when they were on the ground.
Yeah.
That's
a good
basically how it
point.
was. They were basically together, and there were 4 hands on it. Anyway, we're going to recap the game real quick before we even discuss it. Going on, basically, the Vikings went down on their first drive and scored, and I thought, okay, good sign. Be
Yeah.
able to go right down, 6 plays, 74 yards. Bills respond with the touchdown. They get another touchdown. Kirk throws his first interception of the day. Field goal. The Bills fumble. And the Vikings ended up going on 4th and 1 on the Buffalo 28, turnover on downs, and Buffalo scores again. So it's 24-10 at half. Come out of half, Vikings have a great drive. Kirk throws another interception. I was watching this, I thought, okay, I'm going back to the Steelers game now. Then Buffalo ended extending up to 27-10 with another field goal. Then in one play, bang, Dalvin Cook had an 81-yard run to make it now down to a 10-point lead. Again, another touchdown drive off of a Josh Allen interception for the 27 and a missed extra point makes it 23. Then they turned it over on downs, which was really, I want you to say, and we're going to talk about this in a second. They turned over on downs at the 6-inch line, and then Josh Allen fumbled in the end zone, which caused it to be tied. 30, and then they went down and scored in 39 seconds a field goal. The Bills did, and then goes to overtime. The Vikings kick a field goal on their drive. Josh Allen throws an interception in the game. That's what happens. But Ryan,
Crazy.
To go on from that, do you think, was Kirk Cousins short of that line when they turned over on downs in the 4th quarter? That drive.
I almost need to review it. I need to probably review it.
We featured the Justin Jefferson catches. which were great. I mean, there were 2 catches on that drive that were fantastic that they needed. And
I'm going to review this so I know what I'm talking about.
Going to review real quick. And seeing the review, they did not have for some reason there was magically not a camera on that side that couldn't see the angle, but the other side they had a camera on. So
that's how it always is, isn't it?
Yes. So, but anyway, ended up Josh Allen.
It's not loading in.
It's not loading in, but it ended up being that the Bills take the loss. So, what do you take about this? We got an extra minute. What are you taking? What are you taking from this game? What impact? How does this impact
Bills,
things?
I think it just reinforces the idea that we're in for a crazy NFL season where there's not really one dominant team. I think every team has flaws, and even a team like the Bills, we've seen be beaten, granted in close games, by the Dolphins and the Vikings, and I forget the other loss.
Jets.
Oh yes, that was incredible. And so I think I'm sorry, I can't really look at this.
Nope, you can't replay it.
Nope. So I think it's just reinforcing the fact that we're in for an interesting year and that there's no real dominant team, and that, I think it also reinforces the fact that the Vikings are legit. They're not just some fluke. They are legit going to win the NFC North pretty handedly, and they're going to be a real threat because they have arguably the best wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's him or Diggs, right? Or Tyreek Hill. Those are like your 3 best wide receivers. I don't think anyone would debate, especially now that Kupp's injured, which really sucks for the Rams because that's their entire offense.
Right.
So, I think it really just reinforced that we're in for a good year, and that's really exciting. And the Vikings, I mean, they're looking legit. Maybe they win the NFC. The NFC is pretty wide open, even though the Eagles are dominant. The NFC, I still think the Eagles would be my pick, but the Vikings look good.
Well, I'm going to say real quick is that the Bills are now a very competitive division right now. If you did not know this, and it's just been very quiet, that all the AFC East right now
would make the playoffs.
Season today, they'd be in the playoffs. So they're in a very tough division fight. It's gonna be whoever. It's a toss up for whoever's gonna win that division. Right now, Miami's.
I want the
like
Jets
the
to win
team.
it.
So,
I think Miami is the best team.
they're
I actually
like
think Miami's better than the Bills.
So,
we're gonna take a moment to realize Tua hasn't lost a game he started and finished.
even though the bell rings doesn't mean it stops talking about this subject, but I think that Buffalo still has a good path. I was afraid. I didn't think Josh Allen was playing. I didn't even know Josh Allen was playing until I turned the game on.
It's a much different game.
I didn't even know. Well, in Case Keenum played for Minnesota, so he would know. I mean, he knows a new
That's
system.
a good point. And Case is good. Case is a good backup.
Yes.
One of probably the best in the league.
Yes. So that's how it is. But here it is. Rundown right here for the Vikings. This is the end. This is the rest of their schedule. They got a tough end of their schedule here, though. They host Dallas, host New England, host the Jets, at Detroit, host the Colts, host the Giants, at Green Bay, at Chicago.
That's probably, they could just go 500 there.
Day. Yeah, they have a tough. Right now, for some reason, they're number 2 in the NFC. I don't know how that is possible when they are undefeated in their division. They're 6-1 in the conference, and they have a better strength of schedule and a better strength of victory. So I don't know how that's possibly the tiebreaker.
I love the fact the Seahawks have won their division right now. I just think that team's so great.
Yes.
The Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker third. I love Kenneth. Loved him back in college, and I know you're a big Kenny guy too.
K9.
He's good.
And
Stud.
Yes. So anyway, let's move on here.
We should also mention the fact that the frickin' Jaguars blew it. They could have become the big salad AFC team, and they frickin' blew it.
Yeah, we might be revisiting that today before the day's over.
We're going to kick them out again? There's another opportunity to kick out the Broncos.
Right now, we haven't even kicked out the Broncos yet.
I know, we haven't even kicked them out.
We're kicking, the Jaguars usually halfway we go through. Last week was halfway, so we're going to talk about that today.
Oh, we're discussing. You have things to discuss. You want to bring it to the Congress.
I do want to bring it to the Congress. All right.
All right.
So speaking of this, to the Congress, Frank Reich, who was the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, was fired over our 2-week break, and now he was replaced with former lineman Jeff Saturday,
who was
a Hall of Famer, and with Peyton Manning. And he did win after Bill Cowher just lamb-blasted Jeff Saturday on NFL Today after his hiring. So, first of all, Ryan, what do you make of the firing? And then what do you make of the hiring?
I think it's a good hiring. It's one of those where if he can get a couple wins and get people behind him, then they'll probably make him the coach for next year. And if he does bad, then they'll find somebody new. It's the standard interim coach thing. To be perfectly honest, I think usually when you get the interim, if he wins a couple games, you might as well keep him because what went on with the Raiders, they made the wrong move by getting rid of what's his face.
Yeah.
I just thought of him as Pit Boss Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pasaccio.
Yeah. Pisaccia. He was good, and he had them in the playoffs.
He's
He did well, I really thought. Especially, he had some good game plan against the Chargers. That last game of the season, the do or die game. He won you a clutch game, and my dad always said as a saying, which is close games come down to coaching, and football is the most coach dependent sport like in the world because they call the shots. So I think they made the complete wrong moves. That's just my real thing for Rich. Where is he now?
He's the special teams coordinator for the Packers. I knew he was on the Packers. I just didn't know what he was.
Oh, I knew he was there too. I saw him. Yeah, because they have such terrible special teams. He needs somebody to fix it. Yeah, so that I think he deserves to still have that spot. I'm saying the Saturday thing, if he wins a couple more games, you might as well keep him around. Right now, when you're the Colts, your biggest concern is keeping Taylor there and not wanting him to ship off.
Right, exactly. You're going to have to draft a quarterback. You're actually going to have to draft a quarterback that you're going to have to be able to coach and get their feet underneath them so they can.
You need your next guy.
Future. Because right now, I don't think Sam Ellinger is the next.
No, your run a QB system hasn't worked.
No, he won. Yes, and you drafted him 2 years ago.
They're going to get Will Levis, Kentucky boy, Indianapolis,
and that's fine. That's kind of what their quarterback profile has been.
Yeah.
So,
Stanford's not that close.
I think that personally on the firing, I don't know. Frank Reich is definitely a very attractive now offensive coordinator perspective out there for next year.
I think he'd be great as a Steelers OC. You already texted me about that. That was one of our conversations.
We did talk about that. I do think on the hiring part, though, I understand because obviously I'm sure you've seen the video. Everybody's seen the video of Bill Cowher just lambasting the Colts for hiring Jeff Saturday. With all these qualified coaches out there already in the NFL have been there for years, and they should be getting coaching positions. And Saturday proved him wrong and won. But I think there's a point there that this guy hadn't coached anything past high school, and now he's coaching an NFL team, and here it is. And then he just won his game. So now it's kind of, I do understand the rationale for the frustration from Bill, but it seems like since he was a Colts man, Colts through and through, and Jim Irsay, he likes to throw things off the wall. Yeah. So I guess that's how it's going to be.
I will say,
for that.
Frank Reich's track record is not the strongest as a head coach. You go to the Eagles team that just won the Super Bowl, and you don't do the best. Like, not just won the Super Bowl, but a couple years out of winning the Super Bowl, doesn't do the best. Then he goes out of there. Within 2 years, Sirianni's got him looking great. Like, Sirianni's gunning for Coach of the Year maybe at this point.
Right. I mean, he was only quarterbacks.
What?
OC.
Yeah, I'm just saying it. Frank Reich doesn't look the best from a head coach perspective, but OC, he'd be good. This next round of hiring, I think the Panthers have a shot, though. If we don't get Flores, we might get Bieniemy. I might be the winner of the Bieniemy sweepstakes.
You might finally get him.
Because we've been talking about how...
it's taken a long... But it's, how many times have he's been interviewed and... I don't know why teams aren't hiring him.
He's great.
It's ridiculous. But... and maybe he just keeps turning them down. Maybe he says, I'm just going to interview to save face and turn them on. But I don't think that's the problem.
I don't think...
Obviously, the problem is that for some reason teams do not want to hire him.
Him and Hendon Hooker, though?
No sense. But...
Him and Hendon.
Yeah, great. I think so, too. I
want Hendon Hooker. That's my guy.
Speaking of Bieniemy, we're going to move on to the Chiefs. And not this past Sunday night, but 2 Sunday nights ago, the Chiefs hosted the Titans, and they went to overtime. And thanks mostly to the Titans' defense and Derrick Henry for keeping Tennessee in this game.
They couldn't pass the ball at all.
No, they couldn't with Tannehill out. So
Malik did not look the best.
What is your reaction about that game? What does it say about the Chiefs, and what does it say about the Titans moving on here?
I think there's really 2 big statements here, and it's pretty simple. The Titans, if they're going to do anything this year...
Well, they're not.
Here's the thing. They're not going to do much this year.
They're leading their division.
They're going to win their division, probably, and make the playoffs, and they'll lose in the wild card round, and that's the end of it. Realistically, you need to figure out what you're doing at the quarterback position. Are you going to try to make a move to get somebody who's going to be available? I don't know who would be available, but there's usually 1 or 2 guys. Mm-hmm. Are you going to maybe be looking at like Anthony Richardson, Hooker, those guys who are going to be mid-first round picks or early second round picks? Really, really don't want them to get Hooker. But I think Richardson could be really interesting there. You get a running quarterback, a guy who likes to move around and shift his feet with Derrick Henry. That could be exciting. I've always thought alternate universe, if there's some way that Lamar and Derrick Henry play together, how interesting that is. Like having does that even work? I don't know offensively how that works.
I think it does because it's power running.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. But regardless, I think it's really the statement there is that they're going to win their division, but this is really a nothing year for the Titans. Their best year was 3 years ago when they went to the AFC Championship.
Their best year was last year, and they should have been there, and they should have won the Super Bowl.
I don't think so. I think it was 3 years ago. I think their best year was the year that they won the AFC Championship and lost to Mahomes. The other statement there is that Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league, and there's no doubt about it. And that's my opinion for a while now, and I still 100% believe it. And that was a big statement game for him. He just made some plays. You're just like, how does he even do that? And regardless who the receivers are, he's still the best quarterback, and they're still a Super Bowl threat, even though they're not the favorite. There really is no clear favorite at the moment. You can't count them out.
There's not.
So that's how it is. I mean, the Chiefs, in my opinion, are kind of on the same trajectory as, like, Bama's going into that trajectory where you can't count them out. They have up years, they have down years, but every year they're a threat because of Mahomes, because he's the best quarterback. Just like for Bama, every year they're a threat because of Saban, because he's the best coach.
Right.
So that's the thing. Right. Granted, they don't have the same amount of championships as Bama, but I'm saying, same idea, you're always a threat.
Right. And I'm going to add on to the Chiefs right now. They have quietly moved up to 7-2 and are the top seed.
Yeah, the quiet. It is
it's
mad
very quiet.
No one said
Everybody
anything.
else is getting the chatter, and the Chiefs are just quietly moving up.
Tua is getting MVP hype.
Stacking W's. So, I'm going to say, obviously, I think that game shows more about what the Titans' limitability was with the passing game because of having Malik Willis as their quarterback and not Tannehill. They weren't able to run that play action as effectively and be able to beat the Chiefs downfield because it was basically Derrick Henry running the ball all first half and being successful at that. And then the Chiefs basically put 8-9 in the box and said, all right, now this is what we're going to do since you're just going to run the whole time. And
A.J. Brown laughed his way all the way to the bank.
Yes, he did. I mean, so
that was our guy.
I think Chiefs-wise, they won again No, they were off last week.
They were like 3 or 4-0 in their last couple.
They beat the Jags last week. Excuse me.
Yeah, they beat somebody else for that.
They beat the Jaguars. That was just the Titans. They had the 49ers 2 weeks before. They had a bye. They had a bye before that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Niners are a tough schedule.
Beat the Jags by 10 this past week. But it looks like the Chiefs, I mean, in my opinion, even though we have these all shiny new toys, as I see these teams that, that aren't usually that good, they are evolving to be good, you still have, your old reliable toy over here, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think they should be the odds-on favorite right now to win the AFC.
It's like when you go to an ice cream.
They shouldn't be.
It's like when you go to an ice cream shop and they have all these flavors.
Baskin Robbins, 31.
Yeah, it's like you got all these great flavors, but at the end of the day, sometimes, in my opinion, strawberry just kind of hits the best. I love strawberry ice cream. Sometimes you keep it simple and go with the Neapolitan trio.
Ugh, that is just the worst ice cream ever.
Well, you don't go with Neapolitan. I'm saying you pick one of those three.
Yeah, I know, but some people want to get all three in there in that scoop.
No, I just go strawberry. Dude, I am actually a fiend for like strawberry ice cream, strawberry milk. Love strawberry.
Yeah, stuff. I know you do. That's just not.
Black raspberry ice cream is my favorite thing.
Oh, that is.
A little bit of dark chocolate in there.
Yeah, I don't do that, but yeah. The black raspberry soft serve from Suzy Q's.
That's freaking good.
That's where it's at.
Too.
That's where it's at.
I like the shake of black raspberry.
So, with the ice cream.
Well, it's
the syrup.
Yes.
Yes.
Not and the syrup. I don't.
Oh no, you gotta get the syrup.
If you're putting black raspberry syrup on black raspberry ice cream, that's just too much.
Okay, but when they have the peanut butter soft serve, I get the peanut butter for the peanut butter milkshake, ice cream, and the syrup because you can't take. It's not enough peanut butter.
Oh my gosh, peanut butter is such a distinct flavor. I couldn't do it.
Oh, I love it. Love the peanut butter.
See, that's the same thing with me.
Really, what I should try is doing a milkshake, chocolate ice cream, peanut butter syrup. Reese's,
not a bad idea.
Called a Reese's. Quinn's
milkshake. Reese's.
So
you can sell it,
but
they'll definitely upcharge it too, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, well, because
it's always expensive.
Yeah. So, anyway, next in the NFL, the Rams are just suddenly they are in a tailspin right now. Cooper Kupp is now going to be on injured reserve, and he is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, what is going to happen to them? They're already 3-6. Ryan, what do you got there?
I think that's wraps to their season. I'm gonna be honest. I think, the whole McVay thing, the whole way it works is that you have this insane offense and you get a pretty good defense.
Yep.
Because you have the best defensive player of the last decade, maybe the last, really since Ray Lewis and Michael Strahan. And that's Aaron Donald. And so you have a generational talent, and you got Jalen Ramsey. You went out and got him. And so it's even though you don't have the best DC or like just defensive scheme, you have these incredible players. And offensively, you have a great scheme, and you have one of the most talented players in Cooper Kupp, and he takes advantage of the scheme. Without Kupp, I think this whole team kind of is going to fall apart. Stafford does not look as strong as he did last year. The offense is not as strong as it did last year. I think it's one of those situations where it's kind of like Lamar's 2020 season, where 2019 he absolutely torched everybody. The Ravens were like 13-3 or 14-2.
14-2.
They were insane.
Lost in the first round.
Dominated. Lost the first round to the Titans. And then the next year, did not perform as well. Barely made the playoffs? Yes, because they ended up winning the first. Yeah, they won the wild card. They made the playoffs. Yeah, because 3 teams made it. Them, the Steelers, and the Browns all made the playoffs that year. 2020. Because I remember Lamar won a. Do you remember that, Q?
So I was looking up a little bit. Yeah.
I remember they made it in 2020.
The Colts would have been. The Colts
played the Bills.
Who was the 4-5 game against the Ravens?
Steelers, Browns play. Chiefs had the bye. Titans have to be Titans. Has to be. No, Colts won the AFC South that year. Right?
No, they didn't. They were the 7th seed.
So then it was Titans. They beat the Titans again.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rematch the year before.
Yep.
Yeah. So what point is, they end up winning, but Lamar does not look as good as he did before, and the team wasn't as good, even though they ended up winning a playoff game. They were different during the regular season. They weren't as strong as they were the year before. It's one of those where that people kind of figured out Lamar's tricks, and he had to evolve, and, 2021 was a weird year for them.
Yes.
Did they make playoffs last year?
Last year? No, they didn't. They went 8-8.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that now.
We beat them for the last spot.
Yep, I remember that. See, they've had a forgettable year, and then this year, Lamar's looked a lot better. The team looks good. They're pretty much going to win their division handedly. Yep. I guess the Bengals are kind of fighting them for it, but I honestly do think the Ravens are a step above them. Uh-huh. So, you have to take that next step and evolve. Mahomes, I remember, when Tyreek Hill left, people were like, oh, now Ron, you're going to see he's not really that good and that Allen's much better. Yeah, I'm still waiting to see it because Allen threw 3 interceptions. So
Patrick has thrown 3 interceptions in the game.
He has, but it wasn't that game. So
2 interceptions and a fumble anyway.
Mahomes, I'm saying he has evolved. He's not a one-trick pony. I'm not saying McVay's a one-trick pony, but he has to evolve and find that next level because they figured out what he's doing right now.
Yes.
Also, didn't we talk about on this podcast a couple weeks ago? I don't know if I mentioned this. The era of hiring the next Sean McVay is over. Now guys are hiring DCs as coaches.
We did not talk about this.
Okay.
So.
I basically read an article that was pointing out exactly what you and I talk about. I always pretty much say that I prefer to hire DCs as coaches. I just think it works out better. That's why I was happy they went with Bowles instead of
Byron Leftwich.
And I like Leftwich. I think he's very good.
Leftwich.
I actually think that entire coaching staff for Tampa Bay is excellent. But I would rather hire a DC than an OC, just my opinion. And teams lately, there was a big stretch there where it was like you hire your OCs to be your head coaches. Frank Reich, perfect example.
Right.
Because everybody was trying to find their next Sean McVay.
Yes.
Shanahan and McVay are the 2 that worked out.
Yes.
I would say LaFleur worked out to a point.
Yeah.
But I'm saying now they're hiring more DCs, and that works better. Dayball, DC. Right? Wasn't Dayball DC? Oh, he's OC. Balls.
Well, yeah, but they needed somebody else offensively minded there.
Yeah, because their offense is crap, and now they finally have made Saquon good again. And no one talks about Saquon.
As long as he's
we
not
talk about the
injured.
Giants, but we're not talking about Saquon enough.
Well, he's not injured.
I'm just saying, I prefer the DC, and I'm glad we're going back to that.
Back to the Rams, though, real quick. Their downturn, it's not aided. It's not getting aided by what their schedule is since they won. They were the division winner last year. So they have a tough schedule again this year. And they finish out the season. They're at New Orleans, at Kansas City.
That's a big loss.
Host Seattle, host Las Vegas, at Green Bay, host Denver, at the Chargers, host Seattle. So that they got a really tough sled just to go through. And with Cooper Kupp being, he already had 75 receptions for the year. They better call OBJ, even though supposedly Jerry Jones really wants him on the fan.
I think him on the Cowboys would actually be pretty interesting. I think he fits there quite well.
I could see them there because they were having wide receiver issues in the beginning when they didn't have.
It's just CD. Nothing against Gallup. Well, actually, yes, against Gallup. Gallup's not that good. No, I don't think Gallup's incredible. I think they could use a third option that's the big threat. CD is your big threat at the moment.
CD is number 1.
Gallup is your slant
still your
guy.
number 2. He was number 2 last year. He was still number 2 this year.
Gallup's pretty good. I'm not a big Amari Cooper guy. I always thought CD was better than him.
Well, I think it's because of CD's youth. That's why I did not put him.
CD's so athletic, though.
Yes, he is. He is. And he's finally grown into his role better now.
In his third year,
Yeah. But, all right. Well, maybe this is who we should have made the big salad team of the NFC East. But the Washington Commanders have made a roaring comeback. And just like the
we made it the Lions.
Yes, we did. Just like the AFC East, all the NFC East would be in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure, right now.
The AFC East.
Yes,
you're right.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
No, it's not.
The Commanders
were not. It's
they are
Niners.
eighth.
It's
they are
Niners.
eighth. They are eighth. So
close, though.
but they were close. So almost all 4 teams were in there.
The Beast of the East.
But the Commanders have come roaring back in the future. Wentz has been injured. Heineke comes back in and saves the day. And the Eagles face their first loss on Monday night from
the Commies.
From the Commanders. So,
React.
do you think that the Commanders are making the playoffs?
I would love to see it. As soon as Heineke started, I was like, uh-oh, they might lose. Just because there's that special Heineke magic. I don't know why they don't start him. He's good. He wins games.
I think he's staying out there.
He should.
I think he is going to be the starter for the rest of the year.
He
might
quite
save
good.
Ron Rivera's job right now.
Yeah, he's quite good. And also, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, the receiving core over there is good. J.D. McKissick, solid guy.
Yes.
Running back wise, Robinson,
yes.
good. They can do a dual back system with is Gibson out right now?
I don't know if he's out or not. I have not been following that much until Monday night, so that's just how
we
it
know
goes.
obviously defensively who they got. Montez Sweat.
Not Chase Young.
No, Chase is still out. If they had Chase back, they would actually be a real threat to make the playoffs. To me, the tough thing with the NFC is this: if I bet on the Commies to make the playoffs, I'm guaranteeing that pretty much every NFC East team makes it, because I don't think there's a chance that the Cowboys drop out and the Commies get their spot as third, I just don't think it's likely. And then I'm writing off the Niners. And I really don't want to write off a Niners team that looked really good Sunday.
Yeah, and it's starting to turn it around and actually gelling with
I really
Jimmy
think
G.
Garoppolo is good for them. I think Shanahan is such an offensive genius. He makes it work. And I think weapons-wise, McCaffrey, that was the best team for him to go to. Really upsetting that we didn't get to do a podcast right after that, because I honestly thought, out of every, I'm
we
such
did
a big...
talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we did. But, as a big Shanahan guy, I was really fine with him going there, because I'm like, yes, I can just watch him cook it up there.
Yes.
And he's done excellent.
Yes.
And you knew he'd do well there. And
Yes.
Debo's not as good as he was last year, but last year wasn't like a career year. I mean, come on.
It was a career year for him.
So... and you gotta evolve. That's what we just talked about.
You do, and I think obviously Ron Rivera needs to stick with Heineke in under center, because he's giving that team energy. He did that before 2 years ago. He did it last year. He can give it to them. Carson Wentz, no.
He is the movie. If the NFL was a movie, he's the main character.
Yes.
Heineke is.
He's the comeback kid.
Yes, he is.
So, that's where I think they can. Can they make the playoffs here? Here's the rest of their schedule for Washington. They're at Houston, host Atlanta, at the Giants, host the Giants. Basically, they're playing the Giants the week before their bye.
They could go 3-1 there.
Their bye.
They could go 3-1. They could still win.
At San Francisco.
Oh no.
Host Cleveland, and then host Dallas.
That's rough.
They've got a tough end of their schedule. Once
That's
they get
rough.
to those
The
Giants stretch,
Niners, Cowboys, and don't count out the Browns. I mean, the Browns.
No, their last 5 weeks they have to. They're hosting. They have the Giants twice, Niners, Browns, Cowboys. So
That's rough.
That is going to be a rough stretch for them to make a final push.
Honestly,
the Eagles, they might go into a tailspin. I'm not saying they are, but they could. In Dallas, they lost to Green Bay this week. I mean. I
think Dallas is the team that I would bet on losing the most. If you asked me 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said the Giants, but I feel like the Giants have looked really good.
Personally, I think right now that if I had to pick whoever pick to win the division right now, today,
Giants.
I'm taking the Giants.
They have looked the most consistent.
The Giants. They have.
I would take the Eagles, but that's because I've been an Eagles backer since day one.
Right, but I
might as well stick with my gut.
Yes,
and you've been a Giants backer since like week 1.
Not week 1, but week 3. But
okay,
still,
pretty early on, you decided you were flying the Daboll flag.
Once I saw them getting together, I thought, okay, they might actually know what they're doing.
Excellent.
So
they're excellent, and I think the thing that'll be interesting about the Giants is can they win in the playoffs? Can that team transfer?
Yes.
I hope so.
I hope so. I
so.
hope they do. But I'm saying yes. I think yes. I'm saying yes because I agree with your point. But yes, I think they can. So that's me.
I think the Eagles are a little stronger, but we'll see.
But speaking of the Eagles, after Monday night, concerns about the Eagles. I mean, they turned the ball over 4 times, and the Commanders, that their defense were able to swallow up Jalen Hurts and their running game attack.
To me, the crux of this Eagles team, what will be the difference in the playoffs, is what can Miles Sanders do. I like Miles Sanders a lot. Penn State guys I have a soft spot for. I don't know why. I think it's because when I was younger and I watched that Saquon Barkley Ohio State game, it ignited something in me because I just always have a soft spot for a Penn State alum. And I'm not even a Penn State fan. I'm just saying I just have a soft spot. Maybe it's because I love Trace McSorley. And Miles Sanders, I am a big fan of, and I honestly think he's the crux because Hurts is going to show up. Brown and Devontae are an excellent duo. And, you know, could you imagine if they would have gotten Jefferson? That would have been insane. Like, instead of taking Rieger all those years ago?
Yes.
That'd be insane. But they wouldn't have Brown then. They wouldn't have gotten him.
No, they wouldn't have.
But Brown has emerged to be, I mean, we knew he was really good. He's shown himself to be a top 10, potentially top 5 best receiver in the league.
Yes.
He's been exceptional. So Brown's really showed up for you. Devontae's been the 2, which is fine because Devontae Smith is excellent. Not too short for the league.
No.
Or too skinny. And Jalen, I really think has looked good. I don't care that he, didn't have the best game. Ron Rivera consistently has had good defensive years with the Commies. Every year he's been at Washington.
Defensive years in Carolina.
Yeah, no, you're right too. They were a little more known for their offense. The Cam Newton,
They did.
but later,
Yes.
with Cam, I'm saying. But you're right. I mean, defensively we had some strong Luke Kuechly.
Yes, Luke Kuechly was the
Luke
star
Kuechly's
of
the main star of the defense. But and I'm saying I wouldn't panic when you're the Eagles. To me, the big thing is can Miles Sanders bring the running game in and be a threat? Because if he's a threat, then you're a real Super Bowl contender.
Well,
if he's not a threat, then you might just be an NFC Championship loser.
That's what you have to have because you need to take that pressure off of Jalen Hurts of him having to do his design runs to kick up yardage.
Yep.
Or having to always, instead of in their RPO action, how he's having to keep the ball in his hands and have to throw the ball, which we know there have always been questions about his arm. His arm is fine. It's just that is he making those right decisions if they're in a one-dimensional offense? That
was a big thing for the Bengals last year. It was in the playoffs. Mixon was a stud.
Yes, and without that, Joe Burrow couldn't have been able to hit those throws.
Yeah, no, Mixon did so well. And
that's the same
Bucs,
thing the Eagles are going to have to
when
face.
the Bucs won the Super Bowl, Leonard Fournette was incredible that playoff run.
That was a career year for him.
He was great. That's why he's still there. I mean, Leonard Fournette was great that year.
Yes.
And, that playoff, I should say. That playoff, Leonard Fournette was excellent. And for the Chiefs, when it was Damian Williams, when they won the Super Bowl, he stepped up in that game too. He had a touchdown.
Yes. Every offense has to be balanced to make a deep
The only
run.
one that I don't think is that way was the Rams, and that was, we knew they were a passing team. And that Cooper Kupp.
Right. And Cam Akers, he was injured previously, I believe.
And
last
Cooper
year.
Kupp was just so exceptional, it
into his
didn't matter.
Achilles.
So, and they added OBJ. It was a whole thing.
Yes.
But I'm saying, you look at their big Super Bowl threats, they have to have that running game to some point, and Miles Sanders is going to have to step up if they're going to be a Super Bowl level team.
Well, I'm going to say the Commanders, they're speaking defensively, but this is an offensively. Offense was your best defense here. This is the blueprint here. They ran 51 plays and had the ball for 24 minutes in the first half against the Eagles. And that squeezed the game, squeezed the air out of the ball. In the end, the Commanders had 40 and a half minutes of time of possession compared to 19 and a half for the Eagles. So that's why they couldn't go. Jalen Hurts, 17 to 26, 175 yards through the air. Rushing-wise, only 94 yards as a team, which is pathetic. The offense was awful for them. So they are going to have to be able, their defense is going to have to be able to start stacking up on the rushing attack. And obviously it's their only first loss, but this is going to be a recipe for people to have success against them down the rest of the season since we're in the second half.
I would hate to be a Washington fan, though, because you're just going nowhere. Like, every year you're just a 6 or 7 seed and you lose.
Yes.
Like, it's fun for a bit, and then you watch the Super Bowl and you cry a little bit.
Yeah, you do. You do cry. But,
at least you get to say you're a commie. Like, McCarthy isn't coming back down and taking down anymore, so you're fine. Like, you can finally say it proudly, I'm a commie. And it's like, you won't get in trouble. So
I'm vehemently anti-communist here. I'm vehemently anti-communist here. Just saying. I'm making my point out there in life. Anyway,
not as much as McCarthy.
We're halfway through McCarthy.
Anyway,
yeah, it's not Douglas MacArthur, even though he was anti-communist because he was fighting the communists.
See, that's why I got it
militarily.
confused. That's why I got it confused. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
Doug MacArthur, he's in Korea, right?
Douglas MacArthur? He's
Yeah.
World War II. He got fired in Korea.
Yes, because he tries to push into China.
He wouldn't listen
Yeah.
to Truman, and Truman got rid of him. So,
Yeah, because he said Truman's a wuss.
well, I don't know about those factual things, but yes, there
Well,
were
he said
issues
Truman
there.
was a wuss because he wouldn't let him push into China.
Well,
At least that's what I thought, right? Maybe we
I
need
don't
to
know
add a
if that's-
history
I don't know
section
if
to this.
that's- I don't know if
Where's
that was
Quinn's?
the
Where's
tournament.
Quinn's
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 history.
social study? You put the degree
That's
to
my
work,
degree.
baby.
That's
Come
my
on,
degree.
put the degree to
But,
work.
Nah, mowing lawns. Anyway, we're halfway through the NFL. We've wasted 1 minute already in this section. What's going on here? Who's your best team as we go halfway through? Best
the
team from East
best?
Conference. You got 40 seconds for each.
All right, AFC. I probably should say Chiefs, but I'm gonna be fun. I guess because I want to wave the flag. I think it's the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, when they have Tua, look exceptional. I'm glad you're having the answer. Tua should be getting the
my
MVP chatter. He looks great, and Tyreek Hill looks like the best wide receiver in the league. Him and Mahomes have both done very well after their divorce, and they're not mad at each other. It's just mutual, you know. Their kids get to see it each, like it's split parenting. It's not a big deal. Like the kids, the custody, it's split custody. It's not a big deal. It's not like a messy divorce. It was pretty
Right.
nice, and the kids are fine with it. They get double the gifts for Christmas. It's fine. So Miami to Kansas City isn't that terrible of a flight. They're fine. So and you know Jalen Waddle, we got to talk about him. He's like 4th or 5th in receiving yards. Tyreek's
great.
1, and he's like 4th or 5th.
Yes.
So it's been exceptional for them.
Great duo.
And running back wise, that is their weak spot, I will say. But maybe we'll see Mostert step it up in the playoffs. Who knows? Regardless, Tua and the Dolphins look good. And I don't know why, but that picture of Jalen Phillips with the Miami chain, every time I see him playing for them defensively, I just picture him in that. I get to watch the Dolphins this week. They look great.
I'm going to chime in here real quick before you go for NFC. That was my team for the AFC as well. I think the Dolphins look great. Whenever Tua is healthy, that's where the Dolphins are. They are the epitome right now. And
they look great, literally. Those
now,
teal uniforms,
I don't
beautiful.
believe they
Beautiful.
play the Chiefs at all this year because of how the rotation
dang
is.
it.
But that's what we're looking for is actually in
AFC Championship.
AFC Championship, even though I'm a Bills backer. I still want the Bills to win the Super
Back in
Bowl.
the
But
Bills.
looking at it, at some point, it could be a potential Kansas City Dolphins.
You're telling me that my hard-earned money from my life that I'm going to spend because of Quinn's questions, I could be betting on the Dolphins. I would take that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, NFC.
You realize if we got Dolphins Eagles as the Super Bowl, it's Jalen versus Tua, which is freaking
True.
awesome. And
True.
Saban probably goes to the game, and they show him on TV. That'd be amazing.
True. NFC, I'll go first real quick. Even though I should be taking the Giants because I am the Giants backer, as Ryan is
do.
pointing out,
You
whatever.
are
I'm
the-
taking the Vikings, baby. They are the
Whoa!
best team right now. I mean, they went into Buffalo, won in Buffalo. They've won all their games. 7 of their games, I believe, have been one possession games. They've been able to win them all. All right, the only loss they have right now is that they got beat by the Eagles 24-7. That's why I forgot they beat the Eagles. That's why it's head to head. That's why they're not the top seed. I forgot that's who their loss was to.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and the Vikings beat the Dolphins. So why can't I take the Vikings? I mean, Jai Jettis is great. Pairing him with Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook is fantastic.
The
Pairing
dentist,
him with
Adam Thielen.
Madison. I mean, right there, he's a dentist.
He is like a doctor.
A legitimate dentist. Okay, that's awesome. That's what
He's
you should do.
he's like a super genius.
I
Like
mean,
he's
there's-
really smart.
There is a professional women's wrestler, Dr. Britt. She's
Dr.
a
Britt
dentist as
Baker.
well. Yes,
No,
Dr.
she's
Britt Baker.
she's an AEW. I
Yeah,
watched
she
her.
came in.
She's one of my favorites.
she
Yeah.
did. She did for the Steelers. She's from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
So
yep.
I'm taking the Vikings. Kirky's having a great year. Keep it up, Kirky. Ryan, NFC.
You know I want to say the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean they're
Okay,
top 15.
I was like, there's been games they just look unbeatable. So yeah, I gotta go the Eagles. I don't really know what I was gonna say. They're freaking good. So
Yeah, no, I think O'Connell coming in has been fantastic for offense.
I can't believe it was a debate
And
I saw.
Minnesota. But anyway,
Yeah, that's true.
Back to the
Sorry,
Eagles. Yeah.
I can't believe it was a debate I saw at the beginning of this year. Are the Eagles easily the best pick out of the NFC East? And I was like, easily, yes, they are easily. And they're
They
like, I don't
are.
know, the Cowboys.
Not now.
And I'm like, yeah, look at us now, boys.
Because that division is actually very tight. And, I mean, if the Eagles lose another game, that could be a toss-up division. That's a toss-up division because the Giants are 7-2.
It's true. It's like even the
And
Bills.
the Cowboys
lost.
are 6-3. But they have to face the Vikings this week.
Whoever thought the Cowboys season would rest on their defense? Like, no one. No one ever thought the Cowboys
Yeah,
were going to
but
win games because of defense.
yes.
That's the way. No,
Yes.
this year going into it, yes. But I'm saying, life. They've always built offensively. It's the way Jerry's
the
always
90s,
done it.
yes.
It's what we tried to do with Romo.
Well, but yeah. I would say when we got in the latter part of Romo's years, the last 10 years has been based on the defense.
Lawrence, yeah. But I mean, Micah was...
Sean Lee.
Micah is special for them. They got really lucky that Micah is that good.
Yeah.
Penn State.
So, all right. We're moving out of
They have really
football.
successful NFL players when I think about it.
They have. Well, I mean...
Jahan Dotson.
Well, now we have James Franklin, but yeah.
But Dotson's really good for the Washington, too.
Yeah.
Forgot about mentioning him in the receivers.
So, enough NFL. We're moving on to our next section here. Talking about the NBA for a brief 4 minutes. Which team, since we're already... if I can do the math... We are a little over a sixth into the season. Which team has overperformed their early season standard?
I think it's no question. It's the Jazz.
That's
I mean,
what I was going to say.
We put this here so we could talk about the Jazz, right? I'm like, come on.
Yes.
My boy Lowry Markkinen, I think I said it on the podcast. Well, I'll miss Lowry, but he's not going to do as well without Cleveland, and that's sad. No, he's actually stepped it up. He's on the pace to be an all-star. He could be like a all-NBA third or second teamer right now. He's incredible. And everything going on at the Jazz is excellent. The way the NBA is built right now is so great for me as a basketball fan because the super teams fail and the teams that are built off tough, hardworking players win. And that's the Cavs, and that's the Jazz, and that's the Bucks. And those are teams that have one superstar, Giannis for the Bucks. And then for the Cavs, it's like, I'd say Donovan is a stud. I don't know if he's a super-duper star like Giannis is, but he's like borderline that level right now. This is the best year of his life right here on Cleveland. He's been incredible. I love him. And the Jazz don't have a super-duper star. So these are just teams that just have a lot of depth, a lot of good players, good coaching. Coaching in the NBA is back, baby. Like, people are actually, like, coaching, which is exciting. So, and your super teams that have a bunch of stars, like your Nets, your your Nets, your Lakers, your Clippers. I just keep on talking about the Cavs. Your Nets, your Lakers, your Clippers. Only one of them right now is doing any good, and that's the Clippers, who are like 500. So this is excellent.
Yes.
Absolutely excellent. Victor Wembanyama is going to be playing in Indiana, which is excellent because that's close to me, so I can go see the alien in action live, which also means that, like, the Bucks are going to play him a bunch, which means Wembanyama versus... Yeah, I'm kidding. With my luck, Wembanyama is going to end up with the Lakers, so I just have to really pray that does not happen. That would be terrible. Regardless, it's the Jazz, and we're in for another good Hood Classic NBA season. We're going to have 4 straight seasons of Hood Classics, and I guess you could say 2020 only kind of counts because it got cut off, but it was a Hood Classic. And the bubble was fun, even though it ended with the worst way possible, which is a Lakers championship win. But 2021, classic season. 2022, classic season. 2023, it's already a classic. Like, we're only 6 weeks, a sixth of the way in, already a classic. The Cavs are good. The 2 best teams in the league are the Bucks and the Cavs. Just saying. 2 best teams in the entire league.
What about the Celtics?
The Cavs are better than them. I don't care if they have the best record right now. I'm saying the Cavs are going to beat them. The NBA Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Bucks-Cavs, and it's the best thing ever. So, and here's the thing. Talk to my buddy, Noah. He only watches basketball for the Cavs. Big Cavs fan, only watches Cavs games. And I said, here's the thing. We're going to lose to Giannis. And then he's like, well, it's Giannis, so it's fine. And I said, but next year, the title's ours, baby. So, realistically, it's actually the Pistons, but...
Yeah. Isn't that supposed to be your pick?
It'll be the Pistons next year, but the Cavs will come close.
Well, I did want to talk about the Jazz. Jazz already, they traded away
they
everything.
Horrible jerseys,
Quinn Snyder's gone. Everything's this, and here we are. Somehow they're 10-6 and they're the 3rd seed. But here's something that maybe it gets a little overshadowed by the Jazz, but I didn't think they were supposed to be this good this year. But the Portland Trailblazers,
no,
they're 10-4.
They're really good too.
Last year it was a disastrous year. Damian Lillard was injured. Thought he was going, chose to stay. McCollum gets traded away, and somehow they're 10-4 and they're top seed in the West. So I'm actually going to side on the Trailblazers right now. Right now, I'm kind of scared about the Warriors a little bit because they're 6-8.
I think they'll get it together.
I know, but their reserves are awful.
True.
Outside their starting 5, they're terrible. Wiseman just went down to G League.
Number 2 pick in the draft going to G League.
Yeah.
Anthony Bennett type crap.
Not good.
My boy Jokic, though, in the Denver Nuggets. Freaking love Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
If the Nuggets go to the finals, I will root for them unless they play the Bucks.
And the Nuggets have never won a championship, correct?
No. I'm flex my NBA history muscles.
Series,
yeah,
right?
no, they come in the 70s. They come in the 70s, so
Yeah.
I don't think so. No,
Yeah.
they never won it. Because they go with, in the 70s, they have, can't remember his name, David Thompson, and they do well with him. And then, I think it's his name, right? Nuggets, 1970s. Let me look this up real quick. I think it's David Thompson. I need to look up Denver Nuggets and not just Nuggets.
You just go right there.
Denver Nuggets, 1970s. Yeah, David Thompson. David Thompson's an absolute stud for them, but they never get to the finals, and they never win the finals with him. And then after that, they go into the Dikembe Mutombo era. Then he leaves, and then they're kind of lost, and they get Melo, and they get AI.
Yes.
That doesn't become anything.
Nope.
And then they flounder around, and then they luck into, with the 41st overall pick, selecting an absolute god, and that's Nikola Jokic, arguably the best player in the league.
Yep.
So, I mean, Giannis is better, but Jokic is so good.
He's good. He's top 5.
He's
five
top
player.
3. He might be top 2. Like, honestly, it's him or Curry for 2. I ranked Curry 2 at the beginning of the year. I might argue Jokic now. I love Jokic so much. He's so
arguing?
good. I used to hate on him, and I'm like, he's overrated. I love Nikola Jokic. Talk about a disappointing team. It's the freaking Timberwolves. Gosh. It's really upsetting.
It's supposed to be good.
They're not.
But anyway, enough NBA now. We're going to move on to NCAA. We're going to hit up both sexes of basketball and then some football. First, start off, last night is the annual. Typically, it's the opening event, but for some reason this year it wasn't. The season started a week earlier than the Champions Classic. But Champions Classic was last night in Indianapolis. I was supposed to be there, did not get to go there because I had previous commitments. So my dad, grandma, and grandpa were there in person. 2 great games. My Sparty edged out the Wildcats of Kentucky, Big Blue Nation, in double overtime. While it was a hard-fought battle between Duke and Kansas. And don't forget that Kansas, no Bill Self for the first 4 games because of a self-imposed suspension right now. And that Kansas ended up winning by 5 after playing the foul game in the end. So, any recap on that? Anything that you can tune in?
Why is he suspended?
Because the university suspended him for violations that happened many years ago, and the NCAA is doing a probe on it now. So it's going to come down harder. But they're going to try and use this as a self-imposition.
Right. Yikes. That's bad. They just won the title, and then that happens.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's going to be,
It's not good.
So it's coming down. But did you tune in to any of these games
I
last
didn't
night?
have a chance.
I mean,
honestly
they were
didn't.
good. Actually, had I had a school board meeting last night. I was, I checked in, had breaks.
I did see
on the
Michigan State
score.
won, and I was excited for them.
Yes, and I got to come home and watch the last 5 minutes on TV because I did not record the game. And it was fantastic. Tom Izzo with the win. And actually, we played Gonzaga last Friday on an aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln on the West Coast, and ended up losing to Gonzaga by 1.
That was cool how they did that in the air carrier.
Yes, this is the second time we've done it. It was the first time was against North Carolina, 11 years separating that. But
Speaking of Michigan State and air carriers, the Veterans Day helmets were awesome for the football team. Those are sweet.
yes,
I love those. The Sparty holding them air, that was sweet.
yes. So and they wore the coaches wore all camo pullovers for
That was cool, yeah.
out there. Both teams, both Mark Few and Tom Izzo. So I think what this really answered since last night was asking some questions on how is John Shire going to be taking over for Coach K. Is Kansas going to be able to be on the same level without Bill Self there? And obviously those 2 things were proven. John Shire, have a close game for Duke. They're still rated a top 10 team with their prospects. And it looks like that John Calipari might have some his team's still the same, but it's still good. But he might have some questions as well with his prospects, feeling them together. So
I think it
it'll
is
be
a little weird.
Interesting season.
It's just weird watching college basketball and knowing that the 2 best prospects aren't in college. It's Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and neither of them are playing. Like, just as a guy who watches
Right.
NBA and college both, it is just a little weird for me to not have the Paulo Banchero where I'm like, oh, I'm paying attention to you, Paulo Banchero, because
See, here's the thing. I am. I don't know what your opinion is on this rule, but I am for getting rid of the one and done rule. So if people want to go straight in, they can go straight into the NBA. That's fine. I think how it should be before, with Kobe, which
I don't know.
mean,
I'm not sure how I feel. I'm really not sure.
see. So I'm okay with that because then there wouldn't be this big issue where you have these kind of super teams for 1 year in college basketball.
That is a shame. And I'm like, this year will be interesting because your 2 best prospects chose not to go to college. They both went EuroLeague.
Yes, exactly right. So, But that's it. That's first 2 weeks season. See how things are going.
Mm-hmm.
So, next going to flip over to women's basketball here in the NCAA. Teams on the radar for this season.
Well, obviously, UConn, for obvious reasons. Still Becker backer. She's got to get the national title at some point. She's going to win one. There's no way that,
hopefully next year when she's on the court.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Wait, she's still out? I thought she would be back by March.
Tore ACL. She might be back by March.
Those ACLs get back quicker than
that. They do now. Now it's about 6 to 8 months compared to how it used to be back in the day.
Year
and a half.
Yeah. I thought she was going to be back by March. That's why I was saying that.
Well, she might be. I don't know what her diagnosis officially is.
She was out sometime last year early on, too.
Yes, because she had that knee issue as well.
But,
8 weeks.
Help me.
What? NC State, your favorite?
I do like NC State. I don't know if they have as big of a year as last year, though.
Who? AZ Fudd?
Yeah, Fudd is very good, too. So UConn, I wouldn't write. I mean, obviously, you can't write off UConn.
No.
They're always a threat.
No.
No, I do love NC State. I'm going to say NC State just because of that. But obviously, Stanford, real threat. Stanford, had some big years, so.
Yes. I think right now Connecticut actually had a big win Monday night against Texas. It was a top 5 battle already early in the season. They're actually playing NC State on Sunday. So hopefully, even though I'm going to be gone, maybe I'll record. Hopefully, you'll get on national TV. It hasn't had a channel yet, and I'll be able to watch that game, watch it when I get home later. But actually, I'm looking at Iowa this year. Iowa, they're already in the top 4 ranked. Caitlin Clark's very good, yeah. She's going to lead that team. It's a lot more. It's very heavily on offense than it is on defense and outscoring people. But I would like to see Iowa get to the Final Four.
Me too.
I'd like to see Lisa. Oh, her last name. Blunt. I can't remember what her last name is. But see her be able to go to the Final Four with her Iowa Hawkeyes. And it's coming to me right now. Lisa Bluter. I couldn't remember what her last name was. But I liked it in the Big Ten. Could get in there. Ohio State has actually moved up to the top 8. Ohio State's picked up some big wins to start off the season. Notre Dame is already in the top 10 as well. Tennessee's actually dropped, so that's what's disappointing because I'm always rooting for Tennessee. But looks like there's some non-traditional powers to be actually involved this year. So
and that's always fun.
Yes, it's fun. Iowa State already up there. It must be that they are probably second in the Big 12. It looks like to be winning that title. But if Connecticut can win, make it to their 15th straight Final Four without Paige Beckers playing at all, it's a very led team by AZ Fudd, and we'll see how that goes. Gino's always on top of it, but it's always too early because we're still in the football. You don't get to focus on basketball.
No.
Even on NBA, you don't focus on basketball until we get post
Super Bowl
regular
and everything,
season.
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say post Super Bowl. I say post
Christmas.
Season.
It's Christmas. Yeah. Christmas is when the NBA season really gets going.
Because that's when they usually get
and
going.
I pay attention to the NBA early on because I'm a big fan. But for most people, Christmas is when they start paying attention.
For college basketball, it's really actually next week because they have all the tournaments. The tournaments have Battle for Atlantis, Orlando. They have the one at ESPN for ESPN Worldwide Sports and Invitational. They're gonna have the Phil Knight Invitational as well.
Yep.
The Wooden Legacy Tournament. So that's usually when it starts kicking off for them. But anyway, because we beat the bell there, we're going to move on to football and talking about what has happened now for the CFP and the CFP rankings as they just released them last night.
Well, I can tell you what they are right now. I mean, I know them off the top of my head. It's
yes.
1's Georgia, 2 Ohio State, 3 Michigan, 4 TCU, 5 Tennessee, 6 LSU.
Yes. 7 USC, 8 Alabama, 9 Clemson, 10 Utah.
Fun to see Utah up there.
So,
USC is really the Pac-12's last hope at being in the playoffs.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about here. So we have the top 4 right here. We got Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. Obviously, we know Ohio State and Michigan. One of those teams
that is going to be such a big game.
It's going to be a big
so
game.
Excited
if
for
they're
that.
both
Thanksgiving
undefeated.
week.
This is what? That'd be the first time since 2006 that both teams would be undefeated and playing in the game?
Well, they were undefeated last year, weren't they? When they played each other?
No.
Who lost?
Michigan.
They had lost. Oh, to Michigan
K9.
State. Yeah.
So.
And they're ranked 2 and 3. This is a big old deal.
Yes, this is going to be a big deal. So, hopefully they both win this week. I think that they both should. And it'll be a big game next week. But
Yeah,
only
that'd
one
ruin
of
it if
them
like
can
Ohio
make
State
it.
loses randomly
Right.
this week. Yeah.
Only one of them can make it. So you're expecting at least one SEC team.
I think if the winner of the Ohio State game and Michigan game stays, and then TCU and then Tennessee, I think that's honestly what happened. Because actually, what we're really looking at here is the SEC championship.
We are.
Because
to bring up.
if Tennessee loses that, they might not make it.
Right. Here's the no. Tennessee's not in. Remember?
Oh no, it's Georgia's in.
It's Georgia LSU. So this is where it gets a little freaky here, because if Georgia loses to LSU, then both those teams are probably making it. Then what do you do with Tennessee?
That's a nightmare. When you're Tennessee, you pretty much have to root for Georgia. You almost want Georgia to win because it makes you look better.
You do. You obviously want Georgia to win.
Because let's be honest, they're going to give Tennessee the rub over Michigan or Ohio State.
Well, they're also going to give them the rub over LSU because they destroyed LSU.
Yeah,
Remember
that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
Because it's SEC, because it's undefeated Georgia, and it's national champions last year, the committee's going to say, okay, who are we putting in out of the teams that lost one game? Tennessee or Michigan if Michigan loses. Or Tennessee or Ohio State if Ohio State loses.
Right, and they're
going to go with Tennessee.
Right. Well, so really, if I'm picking right now, this is why I want to see what happens just real quick, and we got 2 minutes anyway. I'd like to see Georgia win out and win the SEC championship.
Same.
Because I want to see a diversified field here. I'd like to see them win out.
And it's not realistic to say that they're just going to lose randomly. Yeah.
Right.
We have to be realistic.
Yes. Ohio State, Michigan, the winner there. All right? They're in. Okay? I want to see TCU win out.
Yep.
Get the Big 12 in there. And what I'd like to see, even though we're both big Tennessee fans, I would like to see USC win their last 3 games and get in there and represent the Pac-12, which is possible because they have UCLA and Notre Dame in the season.
Yep.
And then they are going to be playing, I believe, they would play Oregon in the Pac-12 championship.
Is that enough, though?
Well, that'd be 3 ranked wins.
I'm just not sure if
How
it's
many
enough.
ranked wins does Ohio State have? 2 right now.
No, I'm
They'll
saying
have
over
3.
Tennessee. Would they really put USC over Tennessee?
But they won a conference championship.
You think it gives me extra rub? But Tennessee plays in a much better conference. That's the only thing.
I understand, but Lincoln Riley, USC.
Lincoln Riley is the X factor here.
Yes,
they love to put Lincoln Riley in the playoff.
What else is from Tennessee? What is missing from Tennessee? A market. USC, LA,
Yeah,
South
California.
San Diego. You want that
Yeah.
market. They want the money
Yeah.
from that. So that's why
Tennessee is not a big market.
if USC can run the table.
Well, I would say the Tennessee.
And
There is a pretty diehard fan base of Tennessee, but
No, I'm not disagreeing with that.
but it's the same area that you're hitting when you put Ohio State or Michigan. It's not the exact same Midwest, but I'm saying
it's 'cause it's
you're
not
a lot more
Midwest.
diverse
It's
if
in the
you're
up
one in
and south.
California,
It's in the
one in
up and
Ohio / Michigan,
Midwest.
like one Midwest, one California,
One
South,
South.
and then TCU, one Texas.
One-
Like you're hitting everything
one
right
Big
there.
12.
You have
With the
everything
Big-
but East Coast then.
Technically, Texas is still the South in my geographical
Yeah, Texas is so
standings.
freaking big; it's like its own thing.
It is. There's 5.
What I would like to see happen is probably obvious: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan winner, and TCU, and then Tennessee. That's what I would like to see. I gotta have Hooker in there, and I would take Tennessee to beat Georgia the second time around. I mean that.
It's possible.
The thing is, they'll probably put Tennessee at 3 just to screw it up. So then it's like
I think what gets screwy is
they'll put TCU 4 just because they're screwy.
See, here's the thing. What Tennessee really needs is they need TCU to lose, and that would open them up their window.
But then TCU's not making it, which I don't like.
Right, but that's where Tennessee gets in, because then you're not in a conference championship. That's the problem. When you're not in a conference championship, you're not getting that extra week to build your resume.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
you're
true.
kind of screwed out of that
TCU needs to lose the Big
option.
12 title.
But so anyway,
The Horned Frogs?
the Horned Frogs, baby. No more Gary Patterson.
Yeah.
But Ryan's special section. By the way, speaking of uniforms, real quick. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers wearing color rush. The Bengals wearing their white uniforms.
That'll
It's a
look
battle of
nice.
the unis on
That'll look nice.
Sunday. But somebody else just came out with uniforms too that I just cannot remember. I saw on Twitter who they were. But I wanted your comments on them. Maybe I'll come back up because sometimes things get back in.
So today we're doing a fun experiment, which is, we're looking at, it's the race, the big race,
No,
the big race.
Big race. But look at that. That's some late 70s stunts right there.
Yeah, it is, on Grease, as always. So today we're looking at money. Money. As one country song once said, I know what they say, money can't buy everything, but it can buy me a boat. It can also buy you lots of baseball players. So today we're looking
Who
at...
sung that song, by the way?
He's like a country singer.
He's like a country singer, because
No, my friend Aiden actually met the guy. He set up like a set for him one time. Yeah, his dad had worked before setting up sets for concerts, and he helped him set up the set, and he met the guy.
What's the line again?
Just look up It Can Buy Me a Boat. Chris Jensen. It can buy...
Yes, I got it.
Chris Jensen?
Yeah. It's probably Jansen, because it's S-O-N.
Yep, Jansen. I got it at the last moment. At the buzzer. All right, so we were looking at the total payrolls for MLB teams this year and how they ended up standing-wise, which is interesting. And then we'll also take a look at overall the NFL payrolls and how that's worked out. Just seeing if money truly can buy you a good team. Here we go. NBA, we're not far enough in to really look at it. So last year for the MLB, the top teams for money were the Mets on a payroll for 26-man payroll for your 26 active players were $164 million. Then the Braves, $152 million, the Yankees, $151 million, the Angels, $146 million, and the Phillies, $131 million. Those are your top five. Obviously, one of those teams was in the World Series, and that's the Phillies. It's the obvious one. And then the Mets and the Yankees both won their division, went to the playoffs. The Braves won their division, I think about it, went to the playoffs. The Angels are the big outlier here, spending a lot of money out the door and not going anywhere with it.
No.
But they can also be joined by the sixth spot, the Rockies, also doing that. The Padres, kind of paid off for them. The White Sox, 8, did not, very disappointed. The Dodgers were 9th. Did not expect that. So, wait a minute. They were not. I just realized I had clicked the wrong button. We need to reread this. Sorry, guys. The Mets were 1. The Dodgers were 2. That's where it is. The Yankees were 3. The Phillies were 4. So Padres were 5. Red Sox 6. White Sox 7. That's embarrassing. 8 is Atlanta Braves.
Yep.
9 is Houston Astros. So the Astros were 9th in payroll, but ended up winning the World Series. So let's look at the interesting things, which is your lowest payrolls. The Guardians were 28th in payroll at $56 million. Compare that to the top, which was the Mets at $231 million. I knew it was low. I was like, what is wrong? That's 26-man. But total 2022 payroll, $287 for the Mets, $280 for the Dodgers, $264 for the Yankees, $256 for the Phillies, $242 for the Padres, and then for the Astros, $194. So not even breaking $200 million, and they made the World Series and won it. Whereas a team, the Guardians, who went to the divisional and almost beat the Yankees, $82 million total payroll to the Yankees, $264. More than triple of the Guardians. So that's really impressive work from the Guardians. Also, my boy the Marlins, spending less than $100 million and still being dogs with Jazz Chisholm and Sandy Alcantara. So that's excellent. The Rays also, as always, not spending a lot of money, $106 million, made the playoffs. Mariners, $128 million. Part of that's because they're a very young team. Eventually, they'll be up there in the high spenders, depending on what their owner wants to do. So, I just thought it'd be interesting to look at teams and who spent the money and how it paid off. So, for baseball, we knew it wasn't. It's just a lot of the teams that spent a lot of money did do well, but there's always at least some outliers. Now let's get to the interesting one, the NFL. Your top spending NFL team is the Browns. After that, it's the Broncos.
That's
it's cap space. I need to sort differently. Sorry, guys. Active cap spending. There it is. Your most expensive team in the NFL is the Chargers. And who has the most in dead money? Can I see that?
The Bears, because they traded people.
Yep. Chargers, and then really, I did not expect this. The Jags are second.
Yes.
Wow.
But you also have to think, because of how much rollover they had from last year, is why they were able to spend that much. Because they have this much, they have $31 million in dead money.
Yeah.
Because their rollover last year, they were able to spend more.
Yeah, that's still insane that they're spending some of the most money, though. I did not expect that. The Bears are the least.
But they signed so many people to long-term deals.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, it's excellent. A good point. The Bengals, $198 million. Doesn't surprise me they had to make a lot of re-signs. The Jets, I did not expect to be fourth. $196 million out the door.
They're investing now.
Colts, not looking good to spend $192 million. Jeff Saturday's stressing out. Pats, doesn't surprise me. Bill finally got to spend money last year, and he did. Hunter Henry.
Johnny Smith.
I don't know how much money Ramadre's on. Ramadre's really good. Stevenson, underratedly good for them.
I'm pretty sure probably on a rookie deal. Right?
Yeah, he's pretty young. Chiefs. After that, so Chiefs are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in money. One of the best teams in the league. Down here though, near the bottom, Giants, $157 million. They're in the bottom 10, along with the Eagles are 5th least. That's insane. 5th least in spending.
Yeah, but they also have $62 million in dead.
That's a good point, but
Yeah.
I'm still saying that's still impressive. Regardless, they only have
Right. They spend on active players.
yeah.
So
You want to say space? You want me to look at the space? That'd be make you a little happier. And cap space, the Eagles are still near the top for space.
Yeah, 8.8 million.
Yep.
Yeah, the NFL's a little different than any other place because you get the rollover.
Yeah, and
too.
it's weird. It is
So,
a little weird.
if you say the cap is 200 million last season, and you spent only 188, well, that 12 million gets rolled over to the cap next year. So let's say the cap goes from 200 to 210. Well, actually, your effective cap rate goes to 222 because you get that rollover from the year before. So now you have more to spend.
And the leaders in effective
compare
cap
to that.
space are the Browns, which isn't surprising because they had all those years where they sucked and they didn't spend any money. So now they got all this money to blow on Deshaun
So
Watson.
next year, basically, what's going to come in, since Deshaun Watson's fat contract's not in there until next year, that's where that rollover money is going to go.
He's on like a $32 million. I think it is like a $32 million deal. Like it's
Yeah, it will be.
it's more than that
It's
actually.
more than that. It's 40
It's like 48. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 40 million.
So,
Right.
and I don't know how much dead money they're going to have left here. Obviously, some of that's Baker.
Yeah.
That's Faker up in there.
Yeah.
But,
33 million.
Yeah, but it's not all him.
So yeah, I'm looking at this. We'll just look at spending, right? Your top ones: Chargers, Jaguars, Bengals, Jets, Colts. The only one of those I'd say I would even think about giving a Super. I don't even know if any of them I'd say I would bet on making the Super Bowl. I'd say the Jets could be a frisky pick. The Bengals are a frisky pick. The Chargers are a frisky pick.
Yeah.
Pats are
We
a
thought
frisky
the
pick.
Jets were going to do better, but I mean the Jaguars, were going to do better, but
Yeah.
they didn't.
The Chiefs are really the one I would say is a Super Bowl threat, and they're 7th in cap spending.
Yes.
And then Dolphins not far behind at 9th, legitimate Super Bowl threat. But I'm saying when some of your favorites for the Super Bowl are, even though there's not a lot of favorites this year,
Right.
I mean, like the Eagles are down there on the bottom 5 for spending. The Ravens are middle of the pack.
Right.
So yeah, I just think it's interesting. Vikings, like almost dead middle. So yeah, for the NFL, it truly doesn't really matter how much money you spend. Like realistically.
No.
So it just depends on what you got. So that's interesting. I just want to see if it lined
Yeah.
up. Apparently it doesn't. So the lesson of the day is for baseball, odds are if you spend the money, you probably will be pretty good unless things go wrong. And I mean, so like with baseball, I'll give you like a 70% chance of doing well if you spend a lot of money. Football, it's like 50-50 shot.
Right. Yeah, and football's harder because your attrition rate, because of the cap, the salary cap, it forces you to get rid of good players because you can't keep everybody. And that's
Like Tyreek
compared
Hill.
to and compared to baseball, where you're able to keep more
Yeah, because you can spend as much as you want.
because you can spend as much as you want. But also all contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's a different spot. But
Just ask Bobby Bonilla.
so yes. And he's yeah.
Cry his way all the way to the bank.
He does. He cries all the way to the bank. But those are some of the dumbest deals they ever did back in the day, doing those things.
It's hilarious.
But if you know Chris Bosh actually did the same thing for his contract in the NBA.
Yeah.
And his is over. So we're bringing up
Or you can just be like Udonis Haslam. Just sit in the locker room forever.
right and just keep collecting money, collecting checks. But we're bringing up old Jeopardy
Basically a
back
coach.
here today for Quinn's questions. Clues across Ohio from season 33. Alex Trebek's still alive here. I didn't really like any good ones. Plus, we're in the tournament.
You had 2
of champions
weeks.
right now. Well, we're in the tournament of champions right now.
Oh,
so
okay,
that's
I
the
got
thing.
you. Yeah.
So
All right, let's see.
we're having some different
Let's hit it.
categories. But here we go. Let's find Alex.
As an Ohio native, I should do well.
Although they are tied in second or third place, depending on how you want to look at it, Rachel goes first in Double Jeopardy. Here are the categories. Clues across Ohio, and the clues will be read by on-air talent from our affiliated stations in that state.
Clues across Ohio, 400.
That's kind of cool.
I'm Trisha Mackey of Fox 19 Now. The ribs of the Montgomeryan are a Cincinnati area tradition. In 2013, this then Speaker of the House sent some to President Obama for his birthday.
From Ohio.
I don't know. The Speaker of the House is from Ohio. Sorry.
Kevin.
Who's Boehner?
John Boehner, right
John
you are.
Boehner.
Ohio 2000?
Hi, I'm Mike Davis from 10 TV. The Topiary Park in Columbus is best known for a piece based on a Sunday on La Grande
You're not
shot
gonna get
by
this.
this French painter.
French painter? Antoine Lavoisier. Lavoisier. That's
Alan.
not
With
French
Syrah.
painter. It's a
Oh,
chemist.
Syrah.
It is
Right.
Syrah.
Ohio
I did not
1600.
know that one anyway.
Hi, I'm Ty Bateman from NBC Lima. In 2006, this native of Lima, Ohio became, at age 23, the youngest starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
2006. Are they saying like, okay, so trying to think who won Super Bowl that year. It's not Patriots.
From Lima, Ohio.
It's Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger. Who is Ben Roethlisberger?
Triple
That
something
would
for
be
them.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
Yes, I got that one right. They didn't.
1200.
Hi, I'm Chris Tanaka from Cleveland 19. In Cleveland, you can visit the house where Ralphie and his family lived in this perennial holiday film favorite, and even buy a decoder pin in the gift shop.
Watch this every Christmas Eve. What is Christmas Story? Let's see if the
Rachel,
sequel's any
What
good
is a
this year,
Christmas
right?
story?
Yes, and now the last clue.
You're out of the hole.
Jerry Anderson from WTOL 11. One of minor league baseball's best known teams, the Mud Hens of this Ohio City, got their unusual nickname in 1896 from the duck-like birds in a nearby marsh.
Duck-like birds in a nearby marsh. So I have to name the marsh or the birds?
You're naming the city.
Oh, the Toledo Mud Hens. Who are the Toledo Mud Hens? What are the Toledo Mud Hens?
Nope.
What is Toledo?
Rachel.
What is Toledo?
Toledo
Yes.
is right, and that takes
He's
you
got that. You were out of the hole. You got 1,200 today.
Woo!
It was double
Baby.
Jeopardy.
You wanna write that down on the
We're writing
paper?
it down on the paper.
Here's a paper. Here's a paper. Here's a paper.
Is that the one that I've been writing?
Yes, there it is.
Okay.
Keep my stats. Yeah, I killed it. I had a heck of a comeback.
I don't know what this is. Must have been 3,800. Must have been your total added up to here. So now you're 5,000. $50 at the moment.
Oh, man. It's getting exciting.
Better find a job.
I'm good for it.
I know you are. Well, it's time to get happy, people. Happy 75th birthday yesterday, Bobby Dandridge. History lesson here, kids. Dandridge was drafted as a small forward by the Milwaukee Bucks, played 8 seasons there, and was a part of the 1971 championship season with the then Lou Alcindor before he became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson. He was the third leading scorer on that Bucks team behind those two players. After leaving Milwaukee, he signed as a free agent with the Washington Bullets, where he was part of the team that won their only championship in 1978. And he was the second leading scorer there behind Elvin Hayes as well. So, if you haven't heard about Bob Dandridge, look him up because he is very important in NBA history to those two teams.
No, it's true. I knew who you were talking about when you brought him up. I was like, yeah, I know this one.
Good. That's what we like. Happy anniversary, Dan Marino. Around this day, 27 years ago, Marino broke Fran Tarkenton's career passing yards record of 47,003 yards in a loss against the Patriots, where he threw for over 300. When Marino retired, he had the record for career passing yards of 61,361. Now, if you think if that was a lot then, Tom Brady now has broken that record, smashed it, and is now throwing for over 100,000 career passing yards in his career. Obviously, Marino was underwhelming in his time at the Dolphins and had a chance to actually come home to Pittsburgh in the mid-90s before the Steelers signed Neil O'Donnell instead of signing Marino for him to come home to finish out his career.
Kind of a guy who's become one of my favorite players over time. When I was younger, I didn't really like him that much. I was like, yeah, whatever. And now he's one of my favorite quarterbacks, and I consider him one of the best ever. So
I mean, you got to think his rivalry with John Elway was the first really quarterback rivalry to actually
take off.
be manifested.
And it was, 84 draft, both of them.
82.
Yeah, 84's basketball. Big draft, you're right.
So, yeah, because remember, rookie season, I believe, is when Dan Marino made it to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah, I think so, too.
So, I'm Googling.
Also, you know how rare it is we actually finished Grease?
1983, I'm sorry. 1983 was the draft.
We finished Grease.
Well, that's...
Yeah, we
Sometimes it
never,
happens.
just a quick thing to the viewers, we hardly ever finish Grease.
Yes,
we finished
but
it
we had a
today.
lot to talk about today, and...
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a big old deal. We finished Grease. It's wild.
I have a
Rewinding the tape.
I got a formatting error here.
You got it. There you go.
Okay. Also, a surprise happy anniversary today. 35 years ago. Uh-oh. I forgot to do
Also,
this.
quick thing about the anniversaries. I forgot to mention when it was the
Go
2-year
ahead.
anniversary
You
of the
talk about
YouTube
that.
channel. It's like a month ago. I think it's October 6th is the anniversary. I didn't even mention it, so I just wanted to toss that out there. For everybody who's ever listened to my ramblings in the podcast, whether it was Big Salad or the regular, I appreciate it. So, I know I'm a month late to this. I'm just saying I do really appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen just a second, because you really don't have to. I'm not in charge of you.
All right, so my surprise anniversary, I didn't want to put it on here for you because I know you're going to get a kick out of this, but 35 years ago, this song, your favorite, came out.
Let's hear it. Oh, yes! What a classic. Rick Astley put out the classic. You good thing you surprised me.
Saw this on Twitter today, so I figured we'd have to get it in.
And so
This is on his debut album that was released 35 years ago on this
he
day.
peaked early.
Pretty sure he's British, right?
I think so. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
Yep. From Newton Lay Willows. Wherever that's at. Say goodbye. I don't know where that's at.
Oh, so long.
It's in northwest England.
Interesting. Northwest
Where he's
England
from.
putting out a classic song.
But-
Classic. I'm so glad you surprised me with that. That was a great surprise.
Yes.
Thank you.
I forgot to have that teed up before we even started, so good thing
Excellent.
I remembered to do it.
Excellent.
But
Great song.
anyway, happy trails to the Houston Astros from Justin Verlander. Verlander declined the one-year deal they offered him to stay in Houston for the 2023 season, and surprisingly so that he did not want to stay there with Dusty Baker, and why Houston wouldn't sign him to maybe a 2 or 3 year deal to close out his career. But this season, Justin Verlander, who just won the Cy Young Award for the AL this evening,
he did?
posted, an 18-4 record, a 1.75 ERA, led the league, and 185 strikeouts. But unlike Tom Brady, Verlander has a supportive wife who wants him to keep on playing his career, Kate Upton. So hopefully
man.
he gets
I
to
saw that
finish out his
interview,
career when he wants to.
I saw that. It was like Tom Brady wishes, and it was like her being like, "Oh, he can play as long as he wants. I love watching him."
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
"Oh crap."
Yes.
Good Verlander. I mean, he's only ever played for 2 franchises. You don't think about it. He's only ever played for
He's only
Detroit or
played for
Houston.
2. Yes,
Quite
he's been-
different areas too.
Yes.
So let's see where he
Completely-
goes next.
Both large market teams. I mean,
Yeah, the Tigers are quite popular.
yes. I mean, comparing as metropolitan areas, I personally think the largest metropolitan areas for teams would be New York City, number 1.
Chicago.
Number 2
LA.
is LA. Number 3 is Chicago. Number 4 is Philadelphia. 5 would be Houston. And then Detroit really technically should be 7 because Atlanta's probably 6 now. But because it's just so fast growing.
Yeah, Atlanta has a lot of.
Yes. But Detroit right there with them. So that's how it's going to be. But
You see a lot of Tigers here, even though we live in Ohio.
yes, I mean, especially in the northwest part.
Yeah,
of
I see
Ohio.
it sometimes northeast when we go up and visit my sister.
Which is surprising because, you think there's be more Guardians fans there.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot actually, especially in that area, more when you go towards Pittsburgh easterly, but that Youngstown area northeast, that's very big Pittsburgh
Yeah.
area because it's actually realizing as one of my mowing clients.
Yeah, you missed the
Yes, I
10-24
failed
week.
last
You're
week.
fine. You don't, it's fine.
Talking about the big finish, but actually one of my mowing
You don't
clients.
have the stats in from the week before. It's fine.
Yeah, one of my mowing clients actually from Cardington, but they lived up in Youngstown for about 25 years outside of it and came back, and he said, really, driving from Youngstown to Pittsburgh is about the same length as us going to Columbus downtown. 40 to 45 minutes, which is crazy. So you think even though Youngstown's a bigger city, that's where that is.
It just depends, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, time for the big finish picks for this week. All right, didn't have the record in for 2 weeks ago. I'll get it in for next week. We'll talk about it then. But we got a big week of football, and here we go in the NFL. Thursday Night Football, Packers-Titans.
I don't like either of these teams. I'm not impressed with either, but I guess I'll go with Titans for a bounce-back win. Guess? I don't know.
The Titans are home.
This is two gross teams.
I think Tannehill's supposed to be back, but the Packers got a stupid win over the Cowboys this week. I'm going to take Tennessee, though.
This is gross. That's a gross game. I don't want to watch that, especially on Thursday. Oh, that's disgusting. That's gross. Gross. Take a shower. Don't watch that.
Smells bad.
Don't watch that. Just take a shower.
Rest of week 11, Colts, Eagles.
Eagles, easily.
Eagles going to bounce back? I think they will. Patriots, Jets.
I want to go Pats. I really do. Bill's cooking it up. I'll go Jets. I'll go
Why did you go Patriots? I figured
you play off my Patriot bias, dang it.
I'm
getting smarter than that.
Damn. I'm taking the Jets, damn it. They already beat them once. No, they didn't. Patriots won the first time. So I got to take the Jets this time. Broncos, Raiders, the bottom of the...
Gosh, two stinkers. Let's ride. West. I'll take Broncos.
I'm going to take the Raiders. Maybe they'll get it together this week.
Gosh, okay.
I don't know if I had some blind faith right there. Vikings, Cowboys.
I got a bad feeling about this one. I'm going to go Cowboys.
I'm taking the Vikings. Come on, Kirk, you're at home. Steelers, Bengals, I'll be there.
Bengals. Sorry, dude.
Steelers are sweeping the series this year. Chargers, Chiefs.
Gotta go Chiefs. They look better.
I gotta go with the Chiefs.
I love her, but it's gotta
go with the Chiefs too.
Herbert's
even though
my guy. Doesn't change.
I'm pretty sure we both picked the Chargers the first time they played in week 2. So.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, Herbert's still my favorite player in all of football. It's just Chiefs look better.
Yeah.
So we split on Broncos, Raiders, and Vikings, Cowboys. That's a ballsy pick, the Cowboys one. And I hate the Cowboys. I would like to see the Vikings win. It's just... I just got a bad feeling about this one. I had a bad feeling as soon as I saw Taylor Heineke walk in. I got a bad feeling when I think about Micah Parsons versus Kirk Cousins.
True. Yes.
Two Big Ten alum.
True down. All right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I don't know why my posture's been terrible during the big finish. You think they could hear me? I was like laying down. I'll have to
You're loud enough. I'm sure they heard you.
The way they have the basement set up, the acoustics are excellent. I'm just kidding. Not really, but... the tape stopped for the...
Tape stopped.
Yeah, we're good.
No rewind fee.
No, definitely not. I got it figured out. My thank you. It says tough because I saw the new Black Panther. I don't know if I'll give my thoughts on that at the moment. I'm still kind of stewing on it. I wasn't blown away like I wanted to be. So, this is tough. I actually have a very clear thank you. I shouldn't even thought about it. Thank yous to Donovan Mitchell, having the best year of his career in Cleveland. My boys, I love what they're doing with the Cavs. I love the fact that everybody's talking about how great the Cavs are. It's amazing. I think we could actually win the title this year, but it's probably going to lose to Giannis, but that's fine because I love Giannis. So thank you to Donovan Mitchell for playing some excellent basketball. And thank you for Lowry Markkinen because I love Lowry Markkinen. I'm happy you're doing well, buddy. So, did you start your new show yet?
It's actually went by the wayside. So
what happened? What was it?
I won't tell you until it happens. So
you're gonna try.
I'm still gonna try. I mean,
what about this White Lotus show I hear about on HBO?
I hear about this too, and I have not done any research in it.
I don't know. I don't know anything either.
Nope.
I just know it's a show about drama, violence, sex, and that's it.
I mean, I'm sure that's what the promos are saying.
Well, yeah, that's what they always say. I mean, it's an HBO show. Drama, violence, and sex are kind of
already a given, right?
Right. I mean, like, come on. If that's not what's going on, it's a pretty tame HBO show.
Right. I agree. My plug right here next Wednesday, because I think we're gonna record Monday next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and get in before the holiday.
Yeah. That should be our last real hiatus. The 2 weeks was rough, but it was what we had to do.
Yes. I'm still going to plug this, even though I could plug it again on Monday, just knowing who had the timing when this will come out. Knives Out sequel. If you did not see Knives Out a few years ago, fantastic. Daniel Craig, the star. Glass Onion comes out on Wednesday. It's only going to be in theaters for a week. That's it, because it's going to have a Netflix release instead, which I'm going to go to the theater because I want to go see it in the theater. So that's what I'm planning to do. Hopefully next Wednesday or Thursday, Thursday's Thanksgiving. Next Wednesday or Friday, go see that movie, and hopefully it's a banger.
I still need to go see Black Adam, so I might have to figure out a way to double up.
I need to go see that. Why? Yeah. Marion Theater.
They always, I just, the way their theater's set up, I kind of hate, but. All right.
All right. We love ya. We'll see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye. This is Quinn Maseko speaking for the Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on November 16th. The sections of Happy Time and The Big Finish were copied from the ESPN show Pardon the Interruption, and there was no intention to infringe on the copyright of those segments, their related music, or I Want to Give You Up by Rick Astley as well. Stay tuned for our next podcast next Wednesday here on the Sort of Sports Podcast YouTube channel.